From the top of the town at 715 Main Street in historic Deadwood, it's time for another episode of the DTC Blow and Smoke Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Deadwood Tobacco Company Blow and Smoke Podcast. I'm your host, Handsome Pierce. Along with me always is...
Eye Candy Randy. No, that's my Bill. I'm sorry, that was my Bill impression. Hey, it's Eye Candy Randy. We're all really tired today for various reasons.
We are.
Welcome. We're having a great time. Coming up, we've got some fun stuff for you. We'll talk a little bit of music. We'll talk about the new cigars we've picked out for the month of April, but we've got the main event as well. Before we get to that, back behind the board, the only person without a camera on him is the preacher, Ethan. How you doing today?
I'm okay. Yeah. Thank you very much.
It's a very slow day in the shop. We got snow
very slow
again today, so we have not had many customers, but
not great roads, not shitty roads, just roads suck enough to suck.
Yep, absolutely.
So we're piecing it together, guys. So stick with us.
Yes,
but we should have really fun content today. But first off, let's start with.
Talk about promising.
Yeah. You got to pump them up. You got to make them believe in us a little
bit.
First off, what are you smoking there, Randy?
I am smoking. So this is going to be my pick for April. We're doing it every month. All the team members are picking a new cigar in the humidor. So when you come in, you can see, hey, Preacher smokes this one, or Pierce smokes this one, or Grimes smokes this one. I went with the La Aurora 107, the Toro size. This is the Ecuadorian sun-grown wrapper, Nicaraguan and Dominican fillers in that. They say it's in their description, they say it's an oily, dark wrapper, but it's really not. It's more like a Colorado in shade. Haven't had a lot of these because, thank you very much to John from La Aurora when he was here. If he ever saw you without a full or at least a half a cigar, he would cut a new one for you. So I smoked my brain's worth of La Auroras last time he was here. So I took a little break. Happy to be back. 107th Ecuadorian. That is my pick for April in the humidor. We have full boxes and singles available, Toro and Robusto size. And Pierce?
I am smoking. Wow, my voice is cracking. Finally getting to that puberty, guys. I am smoking the Aladino Vintage. We got the Habano wrapper, Corojo binder and filler. It is a wonderful little smoke. If you haven't gotten into Honduran cigars, do yourself a favor and get into Aladino and CLE. That was not planned. Can you believe that?
There you go.
That was right off the dome. Anyways, I really enjoy this cigar. It's kind of a medium-low body, but it's a nice, just kind of a passive cigar, as I would like to call it. It's not going to be your special occasion cigar. It's not going to be your, cheap ditch effort morning cigar, but it's going to be that nice, steady cigar. And as the word says, the vintage part of it, it's still around for a reason. That's what I'm trying to say. Yep. It has a great flavor, and it will be around for a heck of a lot longer, hopefully. Mr. Preacher, what are you smoking on today?
I've got a Honduran as well. So Honduran Puro. This is from the same farm, actually, CLE Plantation down in Honduras. This is the Asylum PCA. So the wrapper would kind of come out with all those Honduran leaves to be kind of a Habano, rich cocoa. I'm going to go spicy cedar, maybe some toasted peanuts, touch of espresso.
Toasted nuts, you say?
Toasted.
I could use some nice toasty nuts on a cold day like this.
I don't want nothing to do with any of that nut cracking.
I don't want anything to do with your toasted nuts, son.
Very good. And that is a limited product. That is the 2022 version, right, Ethan?
Yes, the 20... Is it 2022?
2022 black box, right?
Yeah.
Yep, 2022. I think we've got maybe 6 to 8 boxes of that left. So,
Today we have a special little thing for you. So we're kind of trying to do these things, get a little bit more engagement, have you people watch, comment, like, smash that subscribe button. I remember to say subscribe.
There you go. You got it.
Oh, fuck. I feel so proud of myself. But anyways, this we're going to do today is cigar myths, the greatest cigar myths of all time.
Sure, yeah. So how do we want to do this? Ethan, do you want to introduce it?
There is a lot of hearsay when it comes to cigars. In fact, I would say it's one of the industries where people have these conceptions in their head of what the rules of engagement are, and probably as often as not, they're just wrong.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's old wives' tales. Certain things, certain behaviors, certain principles of taking care, which a cigar takes a little bit of care.
It does.
And if you don't do it properly, you will not get out of it all that you should. And so that's kind of our primary concern. Let's dispel some myths and let's push people in the right direction to be able to appreciate fully what they have.
The fully trustworthy personnel on your screen right now. Trust us. It's going to be fun.
We're selling used cars and cigars. All right, so myth number 1. This one is one of the most popular that I get when I'm working the register.
Yes.
Is when you get your cigars, you put them in the refrigerator or the freezer to keep them fresh.
Sounds great.
I mean, it's definitely probably an older person's kind of, like you said, old wives' tale. Like grandma says, still put your batteries in the freezer.
Yeah.
Like literally. My mother-in-law still has batteries in her refrigerator.
Well, and I think it also comes from like a history of like, I don't know, my friends' parents. I even did this for a while, but whenever I'd get like a fresh carton of cigarettes, I'd put them in the freezer because you crack open that cellophane, you light it up, it's nice and cold, it feels real fresh. But you're dealing with a completely different beast on this one. You're not dealing with a $10 pack of cigarettes.
Right.
Well, $2 pack of cigarettes when I started. I don't want to brag. I'm old. But you're not sitting there and containing everything. Also, just think of the logistics of this. You're taking this cigar bag out of your freezer and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to break off one, literally break off one because they're frozen together.
Yep.
And then I'm going to put it back in there. First, I'm going to take my torch and I'm going to melt all that frostbite off of there, and then we're going to roll it around in our mouth, which will come up later again, and then we're going to smoke this sucker. I just don't see how two things that are natural dehumidifiers is a good thing to put your high-end cigar in.
Yep.
You know, if you're going to pay $25 for a cigar, put it in the fridge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
don't.
Or don't. Just don't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one that we get a lot, and it's inexperienced smokers, and I was not able to find the interwebs were not helpful on the where the start of that was, but absolutely not. Cigars need to be stored room temperature. There's something called the rule of 135. You guys familiar with that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you want your humidity and your temperature to add up to 135. So you want it. I'm dead serious. Is this new to you, Ethan?
I'm not good with math, so I'm not surprised.
So just
70,
laugh.
65, 65, 70.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
I just say it like this: cigars like the tropics.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is the wrong environment if something prefers the tropics.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Now, when you go and do a cigar tour, some factories will even have these, they look like shipping containers out in front, and they'll bring in the bulk tobacco and they'll flash freeze it. But that's only that's before they've begun to rehumidify the product, and that's just to take care of any bugs, right? I mean,
Sure, yeah.
It used to be a huge problem if you get some bugs inside of the cigars. They will literally eat through, and something that's supposed to be a straw should not have holes in it,
Correct.
and then they will just infest everything.
And then your whole damn humidor is down.
But that's the only time that tobacco is going to receive the cold treatment. The rest of the time, man, 70%, 70 degrees.
Yep. That's what I always say too. So, 5 off of yours, but still within
close
the
enough.
ballpark.
Close enough. So yes, if you come buy something from us, get a few sticks. We put them in a Ziploc baggie, and we will put a Bovita or Bovita, depending on how you want to say it. That's a humidity pack in there for you. Keep them nice and fresh, and then keep them out of the sunlight, out of any direct heat, and out of any direct cold. Room temperature, man, on top of your dresser. You're good to go.
Yeah. Dash of the car for a good 2-3 days in 120 degree weather. And
Toast.
So good. It really melds the flavors together, being in that condensed pressure heat.
Yeah, so just take everything that Pierce says and throw it out the window. This is not how it goes. So there you go. Cigar myth number 1, do not put them in the freezer or the refrigerator, period, end of story.
So we're to cigar myth number 2. The darker, the stronger.
The darker the berry,
There's so many jokes.
sweeter the juice.
Sweeter the juice, baby. So the darker, the stronger. Anybody that's kind of getting into cigars, is it an okay rule of thumb to go by? Kinda. Is it absolute truth down to the very nth degree? Absolutely not. I have had plenty of dark cigars that come off as a nice medium, maybe a medium full body with a good amount of flavor to them. And I've had some Connecticut's that come off super peppery. And if you're not ready for it, it kind of can be a jarring thing to your palate when you're doing that. But that, no, I don't think that is true at all.
And there's one really good example. Actually, there's a gentleman out smoking right now in the shop who just bought one, which would be the Ashton Aged Maduro, which is one of the darker colored cigars.
Yes.
If you look at it strictly of the color of the wrapper, you'll think, oh my God, this is going to be like a pepper, earthy chocolate bomb. No, it's very smooth and creamy. It's on the medium side of the scale. But if you looked at it, you would say opposite. And then you could go the other way with what Ethan is smoking right now, the PCA 2022 Asylum exclusive, or the Tabernacle is another good example. Very dark cigars that are strong.
Very strong.
Dark cigars scare some white people. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's possible. It's possible that it might mean that it's stronger, meaning that it's sunburned, right? It's got more sun,
right?
Which means the flavor profile might be amplified. It might have those spicy notes that you might be afraid of, but also might work the inverse way. We did a whole 5-minute short on the Maduro and what makes the Maduro the Maduro. Maduro would actually, because of that process with the sun, it's actually caramelized and brought out the sugars. So a lot of times, if you have a certain type of Maduro, it actually might have a hint of sweetness and a lighter body than a normal, say a mid-brown colored cigar wrapper.
Yep. And that's actually where I get kind of the surprises of the dark cigars is when you're in the middle of a CBT, a Nictophile, even the Ashton Aged Maduro, you're going through there and all of a sudden you get this hint of powdered cocoa. And you're like, where the hell did that come from? But it's such a delightful little note that comes in. And so when I think of really dark, peppery cigars, I don't think of a little bit of cocoa powder floating in the background of this delightful cigar.
Yes.
I think everybody's looking for that high pepper content, and maybe it's a simile to, the dark pepper, the dark wrapper, that kind of stuff.
Or earthy or leathery, like a lot of the Tatuaje product. Barnyard, as we call it, because you're not allowed to call it shit. And I don't mean shit as in it tastes like shit. It smells like a barnyard.
Yes,
it smells, and it's a delightful, nuanced cigar once you smoke it. But if you just take a whiff, it could be off-putting.
Yes,
it's the barnyard. It's that hay smell to me. That's what it always triggers, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to call this not true, but we'll caution you, especially if you're a new smoker, you should probably tend to start with something like a Connecticut that's going to be a lighter, milder cigar. But don't be scared. Don't be scared of something that's not completely tan in color.
And also feel free, the best answer is going to come from somebody that's at your local tobacco shop or at Deadwood Tobacco. We love to help people picking out cigars. So if you have kind of any thoughts about how this might be treating you or that might be treating you, ask your local cigar guy. He's going to know, and he's going to make sure that he's treating you right, because as one of us in the business, we're here for repeat customers. So we're not going to sell you a shit stick and tell you to get the fuck on the way. We're going to make sure that we get to your flavor palette, get you going, and we want you to have the best experience possible, because we're here to promote the cigar life. We want you to be a part of the cigar life. So just make sure you're asking.
Yes.
Just like it's the prerogative of a woman to change her mind, it's the prerogative of other people to make a distinction.
Yes.
That, shorthand rules might be helpful, but there's always that one exception, and this would be one of them.
Yeah, only one woman can smoke a cigar at a time. I think this is what Ethan's trying to say right now, which completely fine. That's fine.
That's perfectly good. And don't forget, when your local tobacconists imparts their knowledge on you that they've learned from a study and years of experience, don't forget to reflect your appreciation in the tip jar when you check out.
To ensure proper service.
Just I'm a company
Love
man.
those words.
There you go. Moving right along. This one is one of my favorites. Ethan, do you have it in front of you?
I do.
Want to introduce it?
Number 3. If a cigar is really expensive, it must be really good, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Right?
Because I'm gonna smoke that thing like it is good.
Yeah. Yes.
When Bill Clinton is smoking an $1,100 Gurkha.
Wait a second.
Is that the one with the special glaze on it? Or
dude.
no?
See, if you're paying $1,100 for cigars, there's no earthly reason why it should be that much. You're just looking for what cigar goes with my yacht.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that does not prove true if you're paying $1,100 for a cigar.
Exactly. And I compare it sometimes to like watches. You know, you've got these Rolexes that are ungodly expensive, and you've also got like I saw an interview with Eminem, and they're like, "What's your watch right now?" He goes, "Oh, it's a G-Shock. It's about $100." And he goes, "Well, why don't you have a Rolex?" He goes, "Why do I need a Rolex? This tells time, and it's $100."
Yeah.
And he's Eminem, so it's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You can get what you're looking for: the service, the taste, the experience from something that doesn't have to be the most expensive. Now, on the flip side, Pierce. Every now and then, there is a cigar that is worth
every damn penny that you're paying.
Yeah.
Yes. You will run across those super special cigars. It might not be your everyday pick a stick where you're just going in there and kind of searching out and doing like, the 90s CD thing, like, oh, cool cover, I hope the songs don't fucking suck. But you're going to be going in there, special occasions or whatever. This is another good reason to ask your tobacconist, is this going to be worth it? Because they're going to give you their real opinion. I don't know how many times, especially being in a tourist town, where we'll have somebody come in and there's gambling here too. So make sure to stop by, gamble, smoke, drink. But people will come in here after winning a big jackpot or whatever they call them. I'm not a gambler.
Sure, there you go. You got it.
So they'll come in here after winning a big jackpot, and the first thing they say is, "What's the most expensive cigar you've got?" And it's like, and I try to say the same thing to everybody. Don't disrespect the cigar or yourself by smoking something that you're going to smoke an inch of and just toss in the ashtray. Let us help you find something that you're going to enjoy so you come back the next time and enjoy some more.
For a certain type of person, I mean, they really want a 30-year-old single malt Scotch because they can taste the nuances that go into that. Yep. And a lot of times when you're paying high dollar for a cigar, it's because of, we're a boutique industry. There's some really fine leaves that would be small batch. And so a lot of times, like with exclusive lines of whiskey, you are paying because of the exclusivity that went into that batch, right? Yes. And so there's a lot of cigars that use, look, there's not enough leaves to be able to make a full run of this cigar, and so they have to cap it. Which means the dollar amount is going to go up, right? And so it's the same way. A lot of people are not going to appreciate what goes into the exclusive leaves in a $40 cigar. The nuances will be missed on you, and so just because you paid more doesn't mean you're going to appreciate more.
Yes.
No, there's a ton of other factors as well. I mean, there's the size of the cigar does matter because it's the amount of tobacco that they have to grow and they have to put into the cigar. Who makes the cigar and the labeling of the cigar, as much as it shouldn't, you are going to pay a premium for certain heritage names because everyone knows them. Cohiba, Macanudo, Monte Cristo, Romeo and Juliet. Those are the Cuban heritage names that carry a premium. Now, I'm not saying the cigars aren't good, but why pay $7 extra per stick because it's got the little O with the red dot on it?
When you're only going for that. I mean, if you like the flavor of it and you're going for that cool que sera, enjoy yourself. But don't be seeking out, like we do a number of cigars that are not on the beaten track of tobacco shops. We like to have a little bit of, oh shit, I've never seen this before. And we can kind of explain it to them and broaden horizons a little bit. But you don't just have to go in there and be like, where's the Macanudo selection? And it's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Yep, right here.
And if you are a label smoker, like it might be because you really appreciate what that manufacturer brings to the table, but it might just be that's the only name you know. And so you might need a trusted tobacconist who can make some recommendations that wouldn't have necessarily that label, but there are extremely excellent cigars that you probably never heard of.
Yeah, every tissue is not a Kleenex, but every Kleenex is a tissue.
Wow.
That's
That's coming out. That's going to be hi Instagram. Yeah, look at that.
Gotcha.
All right. So that's number 3. The most expensive, not always the best. There are times that it is, and it also comes down to your personal preference and palate. However, you come in, you want a jackpot, you add a couple of barley pops, you're feeling good about yourself, you just want to buy a $58 cigar, and you're insistent, we'll be happy to sell it to you. However, if you hate it, it's not our fault.
Correct. And it's kind of funny that we went around that whole thing and we were talking about the whole Cuban cigars, because our next myth, now that this one's busted, is the Cuban cigars are the best cigars.
Yeah.
Oh, my buddy used to bring me Cubans from such and such a place, and then we used to sit around a campfire and we used to smoke them while drinking this 13-year-old scotch. And yeah, no, I get it. And there are a number of really good Cuban cigars, but there's also a number of just fake shit out there.
Yes, and where did you buy your Cuban cigars? Did you
Totally.
buy your Cuban cigars at a resort in Mexico?
Totally. Most Americans who say they really like Cuban cigars, I would venture I'd go out on I'd go out on this. They probably never have had a legitimate Cuban cigar.
Right. I mean, whenever it's brought up in the humidor, it's always my fun time to be like, oh, yeah, no, I've had over 100 Cuban cigars, and besides like maybe 7 to 10 of them, I can pick something out of our humidor that I enjoyed 10 times more.
I think there's
that's not a line.
No, I think there's probably only 10 places in Mexico that actually sell licensed Cuban cigars. The rest are rebrands. If you're buying them on the beach, if you're buying them, right? And the fakes are pretty impressive. I mean, the labels are really nice.
Yeah, and don't worry if you've ever gotten a fake. I fell for it in Dominican Republic. It fucking happens. Go.
I've seen people break them open, and there's literally cardboard and cat hair.
Oh,
that's why they tasted like that?
Dude, they're like, man, you know what? It was a Cuban, but I got a headache. Well, maybe you were smoking cat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Is that Labrador, man?
And the thing is, the industry has kind of, I'm not saying there aren't excellent Cuban cigars because I've had some, but the industry-wide, the industry's kind of moved on. The intelligentsia has moved on to Honduras, Nicaragua, the Dominican Republic.
Right. And by intelligentsia, you mean the science, too, because this is an agricultural product.
Yes.
And it takes scientists to develop, create new strains, improve old strains, preserve old strains, and then climate is very, very important. So
you guys, communism sucks, man. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, do they have the best irrigation techniques? I mean, if you are a landowner in Cuba and you're going to get 10% of your cash crop, you've kind of destroyed incentive to really make, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of considerations on what it is you're talking about. So please make some exceptions.
And that was in goddamn 59, kids. If you can't make any new discoveries in how many years is that? 40, 60, 65 years. If you can't make any better or more informed decisions in 65 years, and you can almost kind of tell. I'm going to pick on the humidor just a little bit, because you got the guys that are like, you sell Cubans? And if they knew anything about it, they would know that it is completely illegal for us to sell Cubans. And then they're like, well, then give me a Nicaraguan because that's the only one I like. Are you sure? Are you sure that a Nicaraguan is the actually only one that you like, with all the tobacco trades and, Fernandez trading with Padron, trading with my father? They're all kind of just this bundled, I don't know, it's like an underground network of tobacco.
Any manufacturer in Honduras, in Nicaragua, in the Dominican Republic has cigars, and they they have leaves from all over the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you're smoking Nicaraguans, are you talking about the wrapper? Yeah. Because 75% of the cigar is probably from somewhere else.
Right. Yep. Very rarely do we get puros. We have a few puros in there, but it's not normal. So there you go. Cuban cigars, are they the best? I mean, you might think so, but cigars, it's a personal preference kind of thing. I've had 6 maybe in my life. I've enjoyed them, but are they anything super special? No. I'd say, in my experience, they're more nuanced, like you were talking about with some of these other. They're more nuanced. The flavors change a lot over the course of the cigar, but I definitely don't think they're worth the 35, 40, 50 bucks a piece.
Well, and I think that, if you're going to get a real Cuban, what you should do is put it in the freezer for a couple of weeks, and then it'll really mold those flavors together.
That'll really bring it out,
Yes.
man.
Yes.
That's happened with a lot of Cubans that I've got as well, as they were just dried out and they were just, not great shape at all. And you're like, oh, yeah, I'm sure this is a really high-end stick.
Yep. Which brings us to, let's see, what are we on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5. Now, this one I was not familiar with. This one is softer cigars are fresher.
It's the squeeze test.
Squeeze test.
Yeah.
I mean, it works for boobs. I don't know about cigars.
Now
Nothing from the preacher.
If when you press a cigar, you hear this crispy tone, this crackling,
Yes.
right? That's not a good sign.
No, not at all.
Right? You don't want to pull a cigar out from underneath your couch and say, it's crispy, but I bet it still smokes. Yeah. It will smoke, right?
Like that.
If you light things on fire, they'll smoke.
Yeah, so and I think what might be contributing to this is there are different. It's the firmness in how they roll it. For example, last podcast we talked about the First Sat. The First Sat is a very easy draw cigar. Mm-hmm. It's very. It is a soft cigar if you were to squeeze it, but it is not like a quick smoker. It's just rolled in a fashion where the draw is super easy and the tobacco has a little bit more air to solid tobacco ratio. Whereas the opposite end of the spectrum for that is like the La Aurora Preferido 1903s. Those are super dense cigars. It may only be 5 1/4 inches, but that's an hour and a half stick. So there is that goes into it as well. How dense do they roll the tobacco?
Right. And if I can just kind of point this out, I mean, you're looking at Olmecs, you're looking at Tabernacles, you're looking at the Brazilians, you're looking at all these really, really tight cigars. These things age for a while. So what is your version of fresh and what is your version of... You know what I mean? Because you can keep a cigar. I've got cigars at home in my humidor that have been there for 3 years, smoke just like the day that they came into that humidor. So it's kind of an aging game. So if the fresh means the newish, then you're probably not going to want the new because that's going to give you really bitter flavors. It's not going to be aged long enough. You're going to want to take the time to let that sit there and form its own personality over a couple of years before you let it out.
In my opinion, if you're hearing this comment about the freshness and the squeezability of a cigar, it's usually coming from someone who doesn't smoke premium cigars. They're coming from they smoke machined cigars which are underfilled, right? When a premium cigar is bunched and rolled, they're pressed into molds, and so they're packed incredibly tight. But they're also maintaining that balance of not only is it packed incredibly tight, but it's breathable, right? So a lot of times it's from people who are squishing the machine rolled cigars,
right.
and they're taking it as, look, I want a fresh one of those.
Yes.
Right.
Yep. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Which brings us to, this one is always a touchy subject. Number 6 here. Cigars are bad for your health.
I thought it said bad for your breath, and I was like, I mean, kind of a little bit. I mean, not gonna lie.
I mean, but if you throw a little bit of dark beer or coffee on there, it just evens it out,
Yeah,
right?
you just got to wash your palate off.
Yeah, exactly.
Wash your palate like you wash your nuts every third day.
So this one, every third day.
Every third day.
So this must be day 3.
This is 3.
I'm about to say,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
ripe
It's good
in
thing
here.
you don't have smell-o-vision.
The clinical definition or answer to this is the consumption of tobacco in any form is not necessarily as healthy as the consumption of zero tobacco. So you just throw that out there. All right, doctors and nurses and my grandma, if she were still around, would probably say that. However, I think what this is referring to is as opposed to other forms of tobacco enjoyment.
Usually people who are saying this have public school educations, and they're unable to make a distinction in the tobacco industry. There's a reason why George Burns smoked so many cigars and lived to 95.
Yeah.
Right? And so it comes from, like, even talking with my sisters, my siblings, they were like, cigars are bad for you. I'm like, are we talking about tobacco? And they were unable in their mind to make a distinction between cigarettes, which are made as a container, a distribution container for nicotine.
Yes. Right.
That is not a cigar.
No.
So you don't see 20-year-olds chain smoking cigars, number one, because of the cost, and number two, because you guys, most of the nicotine is sweated out of this tobacco.
And
it's
number 3,
it's a part
because
of the process, right?
20-year-olds are underage.
Hey.
20-somethings.
We
right?
ID.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they were unable to make a distinction between it's the old ad campaigns that came out in the 70s of all tobacco is bad. Well,
Right.
Please, again, make a distinction
Right.
between cigarettes, which is a completely different industry,
Right.
and the premium cigar industry. They're two separate things. The products are more disalike than they're alike.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. And as we spoke of before when we were talking about, I think we're talking about darker or stronger. Also, a lot of these factories, we'll use Christian Arroyo, CLE, Asylum, for example, they have for decades now used the strictest of strict agricultural purity laws. They have been awarded certificates for how pure their operation is, which means the exclusion of pesticides and chemicals and things like that.
Yeah.
So as far as tobacco goes, this is, they grow it, they grow it, they dry it, they age it, they flip it, they roll it, they sell it to you.
Yep.
That is what this is. This is the leaf in many different forms and shapes over years and years and years. And that's it.
And people always have a study, a scientific study that they want to show you. And I'm like, who paid for the study? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I can show you as many statistics on cigars that actually would say, no, they lower your blood pressure. And so there's actually, I could make a strong argument for the health benefits of smoking a cigar.
Correct. Right. It's very much like red wine. For years, red wine was in the
Yes.
news. 1 to 2 glasses a day
Yes.
is actually improves your heart health. Well, I feel better if my wife is nagging me and I smoke a cigar. I think that is very much the same thing.
Does that include liquor-free wine too? Because I've got a way to start trying that. I just want to make sure that if that's an option.
Is that within your cup right now?
Yeah.
Is that non-alcoholic wine?
It's my third one. It's awesome. No, I think back on Stash every time that we talk about anything that has to do with health and cigars, because when he went down and he had his heart attack, I guess is probably the best way to say it, because that's what it was. But when he went down and he's talking or telling us about what he was talking to his cardiologist about, and he's like, well, do you smoke? And Stash is like, well, yeah, I smoke cigarettes. And he's like, well, anything else? And he's like, well, I work at a cigar shop, so I kind of smoke those too. And he was kind of like, I mean, it's a cigar shop. You can keep doing that because it's your job, and that's okay. But get rid of those cigarettes. It says a lot that even cardiologists, of course, he probably got off, went down to his local shop, and puffed on a cigar after that. But yeah, I always think of that. It's not necessarily like if you're sitting here inhaling, you got different problems anyways. You probably shouldn't be smoking a cigar. You should probably stick away from that. But if you're doing it just the way everybody else is, take the drag in, you gotta let it roll around your mouth, get those flavor notes, blow it back out, talk to your friends, relax your body, relax your mind, relax your soul.
There you go.
That's what we're here to smoke cigars for.
Perfect. So the answer is yes and no. Are they worse than any other tobacco? Are they as bad as any other tobacco? No. Is it better than not doing anything? No. But you want to have fun, right? Having a beer or having a glass of scotch, that's fun too. Playing intramural softball. Sure, you could blow out your ACL, but it's fun, right?
Look, there's worse things you could be doing.
Yes.
I guarantee you that if you use, one of the vape machine devices,
They are digital pacifiers.
holy cow.
Thank you.
Right. This is so much better than that.
Pierce, do you have an opinion on that?
No. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Also, there is very little next to zero fentanyl in cigars.
Unless you put your own in. Which is
Exactly.
always an option. Don't do that.
Yes. Which brings us to number 7, our seventh, our lucky number 7, and I love the image that Ethan moved this one. In order to enjoy your cigar and to keep it moist, you should lick it, and I mean all of it, before you smoke it.
Yeah, lick it before you stick it. Oh, spit in all kinds of things. No, this is disturbing on so many levels, and I do not want to put the sexual overtone onto it. But holy shit, have you ever seen an 80-year-old guy deep throat a Toro? Because I have many, many, many times.
It's an image you can't get out of your head.
No, and it boggles my mind. And then they're like, "Can you cut this for me? Get your own fucking cutter." Gross.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so this one is, and I looked into this one. This one is an older one, as you said, older folks, because humidification and other production 50 years ago was not what it is today. So sure, there was probably a time when that was a way to ensure that it wouldn't probably explode on you or something like that.
Yeah.
But man, you don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah, the Prince Albert in the can, probably a problem. Yeah. The Padron that's sitting in constant humidity of 70 and constant temperature of 70, probably not a problem. You're going to be okay.
Yep.
So there you go.
I thought you were going to say something.
And also, please, don't lick it, stick it in your mouth, and then hand it to us and say, "Can you cut this?"
Yeah,
because that's not going to happen.
It's just gross.
Yeah, when people do that, I'm just like, "What are you trying to accomplish right now?" You know what I'm saying? And it goes back to, well, I don't want it to, right when I cut it, I don't want it to unravel on me. I don't want it to blah 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 blah. Well, these were in a humidor, so.
Yeah. And if they're going to unravel, they're going to unravel whether you're deep-throated or not. Just keep it out of your throat, kids.
Yeah.
It probably, I'm sorry, I just lost everything.
I know.
Probably was helpful a long time ago. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that also goes for not just your own saliva or a friend's. It also goes for any type of liquor. Ethan was telling us about a video of Arnold Schwarzenegger, noted cigar smoker, brushing tequila all over his cigar.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of people that say, "Oh, I'll take this home and I'll dip it in my cognac and smoke it."
Good.
I'm like, if you want to ruin your perfectly good cigar, that's your cigar. Feel free.
Schwarzenegger's not ruining his. We love you, the Schwartz guy. We're not talking any shit.
No, come on the podcast.
Anybody else, don't do that shit.
I don't know. He's 70. I think the three of us could take half of him right now.
The only time
when he was dead
that you would want to take a cigar and right. So I have no problem with having a glass of a sweeter beverage to balance out the strength of your cigar. Sure. That's not what we're talking about. But it goes back to, if you have a terrible cigar, might you want to put a sugary beverage or drip on it, which is what they used to do to bring about a humidification. You used to pack tobacco in fruit, right? It goes back to that. But man, you are going to destroy a premium cigar if you try and paint something on it.
Yep.
Or paint something on it, or swirl it with your cup, or anything like that.
I would say just learn to appreciate what's there.
Yes.
Yeah. 2 puffs, sip of whiskey. Yeah. 2 puffs, sip of whiskey. It'll do the same thing and be a better experience for you.
Yeah. And if you're going to dip your cigar tip in your whiskey, just do us all a favor. Do the whole thing together. Deep throat, like gurgle. And then you got your tip wet.
Would you like to demonstrate?
I just did, I think. My mom's going to be so proud. Hope you're watching.
So then this is, that's number 7. So there you go. In a quick recap, put them in your humidor, Pierce?
Yeah. Put them in your humidor. No, don't put them in the refrigerator. Put them in your humidor.
Yeah,
yes,
good.
Yeah,
that was a test.
Yeah,
that was a test.
Got it.
Right. Ethan, the most expensive cigars are the best.
Man, you don't always get what you pay for.
That is true. We've got some great sticks in there, and I shit you not. Great premium hand-rolled cigars from at least 3 different companies off the top of my head. Before tax price, $8-9.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
No, and delicious. I mean, I've had $10 that taste better than $20, and I've had $20 that taste better than $40.
Yep. And your softer cigars are not fresher. That's an old wives' tale. Don't worry about that.
Darker is not necessarily stronger. Myth busted. Also, Cuban cigars may not be the best. Just think about that before you come in next time.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah. Also, cigars bad for your health? Nah, not any worse than living. So you're all good on that one.
Yeah. The only time the cigars are bad for your health is if your wife is smoking with you and you say something to really irritate her and she kind of tries to put it out in your eye. Bad for your health. Other than that, we're fine, kids. Just enjoy life a little bit. Everybody's got to have something. And the last one is licking your cigar. Is it the best? No. Is it erotic? No.
Stop it.
Stop.
Don't look at it.
No. We got a couple of honorable mentions.
We do. So there was one that I found when I was Googling that I have never personally heard, so we didn't put it on this episode, was that real Cuban cigars are rolled on the thighs of virgins. Now, I swear to God, if you Google cigar myths, that one is going to pop up. And so now you know that there is a reason why we can't roll any cigars in Deadwood.
I think that's really the only honorable mention that we really need.
The only honorable mention one right there.
Other than that, I do want to wrap it around to what we did last week. And Since we're doing cigar myths today, I kind of want to see what's your favorite myth movie that you've seen. I mean, man, all the way back.
Can you come back to me?
Yes.
I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
well, I'll start
Absolutely,
because,
we can come
because
back to you.
he told me out there, so we're going to surprise you. Mine is going to be, and I remember this when I was a kid, so I'm going to say it's probably late 80s, mid 80s maybe. The good old-fashioned, damn near claymation Clash of the Titans.
Really?
I knew you were going to pull that one out.
Yeah. Horrible, horrible movie. You watch it today and you're just like, you may need to smoke something other than this to really enjoy it. But yeah, the Clash of the Titans, I remember that. Medusa and the whole shebang.
The whole shebang.
Yep.
I think I'm going to stick with a little bit more serious, but mythological in the way they did the movie, 300.
Oh,
what a tremendous movie.
Interesting.
Just a great, and it's so overblown and everything is just so, idealized and just beautiful. And it's like, pretty sure that's not the way that shit went down. But one of the great myth movies that I really enjoy. Ethan?
I'm a Tolkien fan, man. So the world that dude created, I can get into. Those are movies and the books, all that. I can just do that again.
I thought Game of Thrones was only a TV show.
Well,
It's the whole Star Trek,
words.
Star Wars thing.
I know.
All right. No, I'm just joking.
Right?
Well, there you go. Make sure you stop into the venue at 715 inside Deadwood Tobacco. We've got a bunch of fun stuff coming up for you. The entire music for the month of April is up on our socials right now. We're going to do nothing but blues the entire month of May. 5 weekends, 5 different blues bands. Make sure you check out online for that as well. Music always starts Friday and Saturday at 8 o'clock. Your Deadwood Blues Fest tickets are on sale now. Go to deadwoodbluesfest.com. I haven't even been drinking that much.
No.
And stop in. You can come see me when I'm working here. That's Wednesdays through Saturdays, daytime. I'll help you buy some tickets or get them online. It's real simple, real easy. We got a few left.
Excellent. And make sure that you're liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, whatever you can do to help us out a little bit. And we're still waiting for some questions from everybody. So if you got a question that you've always wanted to ask us or didn't even care to ask us, but you just thought of it in the middle of the night when you wake up at 3 o'clock to pee and you can't go to sleep for another couple hours.
Old man problems.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. Anyways, just make sure that you're asking those on the comments. We'll try to get to those as fast as possible. Thank you very much, guys, for always tuning in. Brought to you by Shiner Beer, Deadwood Tobacco, a lifelong of really bad decisions, and the letter Y. Thanks a lot, guys. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next time. Word up, fuckers. Peace.